welcome to this week's edition of In the Ring. I'm your host, Nicky Knuckles, and I'm happy to say that I have David Telesco here as our guest today. David, thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Nicky.
Great to have you. Great to have you. So much to talk about. I've known you for quite a while now, and you've had an amazing amateur career, professional career, and you're still training and ready for the phone to ring at any time.
And thanks to your gym, Nick. Thanks
No problem.
to your gym.
Yeah, we try to help each other out as much as we can. David, tell me, let's go back in time. You had a great amateur boxing career here in New York, and tell me about that. How did you? There's a lot of guys out there that might be watching, and they want to know how they get involved with boxing, and what was your initial feeling on boxing, and why did you get involved in boxing?
Basically, I got involved with boxing because I always loved contact. I was involved with a full contact sport from the age of 7 all the way up to the age of, I believe, 17. Yeah. And, I got in a little trouble in school. I wasn't able to continue playing my senior year, so I focused all of my attention on boxing. I was boxing and playing football at the same time, but not giving boxing 100%. Yeah. So when I wasn't able to play any longer because of a mistake I've made in life, I continued, boxing and giving it 100% of it all my time, and I just loved the sport because it was a contact sport.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know football was one of your passions. You really you excelled in that. You did very well in football.
I love football. Right now I still play in the flag. It's called the Tappan Z Flag Football League. Yeah. It's not for old guys either.
See a lot of young guys. I can't get on the team, right?
No. You're looking at I don't want to say because I got a little older. I'm playing flag football now. Just that I love football, and you have young guys, high school guys to middle-aged guys competing, and it's really competitive.
So you stay very active, and I know you work 2 jobs, and you have a wonderful family, and you're a family man, and you still train as hard as you did when you were, fighting for world titles and state championships. So you're always on point and staying in shape.
Yeah, it's something that I love doing. Whether if I retire or whether if I'm still competing, I want to stay in shape. I don't want to get out of shape where my clothes don't fit anymore. Yeah. And the jobs that I have today, they're helping me stay in shape. And the people that I've met over the years, they open the doors for me to use their facilities. Like yours, Nicky. I do appreciate it.
No problem, anytime.
It's very helpful, and I have to put water and bread on the table for the family. So I have to do what I have to do, and just working and trying to stay in shape just in case if something does come along. I'm halfway there.
Now, tell me, you went from the amateurs and you had a great amateur boxing career. Now, when you stepped up to the pros, what was that transition like for you?
Transition was more dedicated and, more obligated to the sport. A lot of sacrifice, I could say that. And there had to be a little bit, there was more support behind my professional career than there was in the amateur career. Mm-hmm.
And now your first professional fight, I know we were talking before the cameras started rolling about boxers not making that much money. A 4-round fighter, your first 4-round fight, $400, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of ridiculous.
You have to start off somewhere, but I just feel that since the beginning of boxing, the marketing aspect of this sport wasn't properly done right, and it's never really changed since. I could say I guess I watched boxing shows from the 60s, but I'm pretty sure they've been taking place probably the 30s, the 20s, probably even further back, you know. And I really don't see it change much, you know. So I would like to see, you know, the industry focus more on, you know, doing more for the fighters um, than just using them, because when their career is over, they have nothing back. They really don't have much to fall back on.
Very true. There's no 401k plan. There's no benefits package or, you know, pensions or anything for professional fighters. And I believe that it's the only sport that doesn't have that. And gentlemen like Steve Acunto, who you know you're friends with and I'm friends with, and he's done a lot to improve boxing. And I know Jerry Cooney's working on some stuff. Not really, I'm not too versed with exactly what they're doing at the moment, but I know that they're doing their part to try to improve the sport. What do you think from your experience as far as getting tied up in you know, contractual agreements and manager-promoter issues? Is there anything that you can think of that maybe you would have done a little bit different? Maybe you'd hired an attorney to really, you know, sift over the contracts you were about to sign, or is there anything you can think of?
Well, you know, this sport it's a beautiful sport. I love the sport. You know, it's the industry, it's the people that are probably behind the back doors of the industry that have to make change for these athletes like myself, like yourself, because I know you boxed. It's a rough business, and I mean, to make a change, what I would like to see is people marketing the boxing business a little bit better than they're doing now, where it would give each boxer opportunity to go further.
Yeah.
Within their career and even after their career.
Yeah.
You know.
Now you've had some impressive fights on your record. One that I remember, I was in your dressing room many times, and Ernest Mateen. Tell me about that. That was a hell of a fight. You fought him. Was that
91 and 92.
Yeah.
And then again in 97.
Yeah, you had 3 fights with Mateen. I believe the first 2 were
Yep, split decisions.
Split decisions, losses on your record. You were undefeated at the time.
Yes.
I mean, you were just you know, cruising along towards you know, the top of the world right there. And Mateen was somebody that stood in your way. And I know that you fought him that 3rd time, and it was an amazing win. I mean, that was just you know, unbelievable how you beat him that 3rd time. And tell me about that. What was that like for you?
You know, the first time I fought Martin was upstate New York, and I felt, and a lot of people felt, that I won the fight. It was so close that it could have went either way, but I felt that I kind of pulled it out. I was the harder puncher, busier puncher. You know, it went to a split decision, and he was able to pull it off. After that fight, I believe I took a fight in between before I fought him again, and I fought him here at the county center in White Plains, and again, close fight. I felt like I pulled it off. He won again on a split decision. But it could have went either way, a point or two. I took some time off, and in 93, came back. I believe my first fight was in 97 in Yonkers. I beat the Golden Glove champion, and here goes my first fight back, beating this undefeated amateur fighter. He turned pro. He had some undefeated pro fights, and I don't remember his name, but I knocked him out. And my next fight, my manager, Kevin Butler at the time, he said, hey Dave, what do you think about revenging those 2 losses you have against Martin? I said, yeah, let's do it, you know. Martin, he's been fighting consistently.
Yeah.
for those 4 years that I've been off. He fought for the world title. He fought for other titles besides the world title against some, heavy names, And I thought it was a good fight for me because I knew that, the first 2 fights I felt that I won, and this would be a great stepping stone for me right here, put me over the notch. And it was for the New York State light heavyweight title.
Yeah, I remember that, yep.
And I took the fight, and if Rocky Balboa was smart, he would have took that fight and made that the new Rocky fight. I swear to you, Nick. You were there.
I was there.
You were there.
I know. It was an amazing event. That was something never forget.
From the first to the 6th round of that fight, I felt I have to go back on and look at the tape, but I believe I was winning on the scorecards. 7th round, he just came with a sloppy right hand and caught me on the side of the face here. And I've never been rocked, never been hurt in my whole amateur career, in my whole professional career until this moment. And it was early in the 7th round where he caught me with this punch, Nick, and the people in the audience, because I fought in my hometown,
Capitol Theater,
Westchester,
I remember.
Capitol Theater. The whole place was quiet. They were shocked. And all I could think about was, I'm not going to go down. No matter what, I'm not going down, I'm making a comeback. And I refused to go down, even though I was hurt, I never dealt with that hurtness before. And God's willing, I made it out the round. I made it out. And I probably, my mother and my grandmother was in the audience. She ran to the bathroom. She told me after the fight, she was praying in the women's bathroom. She was praying for me, asking the Lord, please let me make it out of this round, right? So the next, I go to the corner. 2 trainers that were working with me at the time was Guzman, which was the assistant of Hector Roca, because Hector wasn't able to make it that night, and Lennox Blackmore.
I know Lennox. He's down at Gleason's. Lennox is a pretty good trainer.
Came back to the corner, threw the water at me. He yelled at me, and come on, champ, you could do it. Snap out of it. Get out, go out there, and let's knock this guy out. So early in the beginning of the 8th round, Nick. Now I'm coming out of my corner. I'm still kind of, woozy here, and early in the 8th round, I don't know. I think my mother in heaven took my hand and just put it in motion. Right over the top, caught him in the chin. He was out. He stood up. The referee asked him to walk towards him. He was very, very, wobbly. The referee called it off. That was the end of the fight. If that wasn't a Rocky fight, I don't know what was, Nick.
This is true.
Because we were going toe-to-toe for 6 rounds until the 7th round came. He rocked me. The 8th round came. I ended the fight. I knocked him out, and I regained my 2 losses that night because I felt that those 2 losses were split decisions.
Yep.
I made sure that this fight didn't go to the scorecards, and ended the fight with a KO.
It really was a beautiful thing. I mean, it turned everything around, and it almost put you back in your own mindset as an undefeated boxer.
Definitely.
And I know we were all praying, not just your grandmother in that bathroom, but we were all praying for you, and you did it. And that's what the heart of a champion truly is somebody that can either pull it together when times are tough in that ring, either getting up off the canvas or saying I'm not going down, like a Jake LaMotta. And and the corner's a really big part of that, I know, because you had the guys in the corner that are great trainers, and they really knew how to motivate you and get you back on track there. And we have something in common as far as trainers. Kid Sharkey. I know Sharkey was a big part of your boxing career up at the cage when you used to go up there and box. And you've known Sharkey for a long time, and Jimmy St Angelo. Tell me about these guys.
Well, Kid Sharkey. Well, let's start off with Jimmy St Angelo. I was 15 years old. Walked in the gym, and I introduced myself, and he introduced himself, and my grandfather was there, David Telesco. I told him I wanted to be a fighter. He said, all right, go hit the bag. Hit the bag. The next day I walked in the gym. He said, go hit the bag again. He walked over to my grandfather and said, hey, this kid could be world champion. Second day I'm in the gym, he mentioned to my grandfather I could be world champion. Okay. So, the amateur career rocketed off. Fought in the Golden Gloves twice, and fought in Empire State Games, bringing home a silver medal. And not to get off the subject, but it's a great thing that the Empire State Games is coming to Westchester.
Yes.
It's a great thing.
Yes.
So, turned pro. But before I turned pro, I have met Kid Sharkey here at the on Ferris Avenue at the Cage Team Center, and his name Charlie
Caserta.
Yeah,
he's one of my trainers also.
And worked out with a couple of his guys, and I met Kid Sharkey then. But to make a long story short, there was a time where I wasn't doing so well. I started to get in trouble in the streets, and fooling around with experimenting with different let's say chemicals,
bad things.
Okay. And Kid Sharkey took me in. Okay, this is because I was training out of a Catholic church, and because of the trouble I was getting involved in, and I guess it looked bad for the church, to have someone that was involved with, drugs, and I was just turned off the wrong road instead of keeping it straight. I wasn't able to continue to box at the Don Bosco Center in Portchester. So Kid Sharkey took me in and said, Dave, you know what? You're welcome here. So I started working out at the cage, and at this time, I turned pro already. And he said, Dave, what do you think about going to Vegas? I said, Vegas? I said, wow, I've never been to Vegas. He said, yeah, Carl Truth Williams. The guy, Carl Truth Williams is a fighter that fought Larry Holmes.
Yes.
And he was winning the fight, but I believe he got knocked out, no?
Yeah.
He got stopped. Carl and I became good friends. He said, Dave, look, Carl Truth Williams is fighting Tommy Morrison. And everyone knows Tommy Morrison to have a great left hook. He said, even though you're 175, you still have a left hook like a heavyweight. What about coming out to camp with us? That was the best time in my life. It was one of the best times in my life because it gave me time to get away from home, to focus on what I really wanted to do in my life, and to experiment, to be around a real professional trainer like Kid Sharkey, a professional athlete like Carl Truth Williams, just to see how they go about life and to prepare themselves for a big upcoming fight. And Kid Sharkey did that for me. He just helped me turn my life around.
Well, we definitely have that in common because Sharkey took me off the streets, and I was in the same situation, drugs and alcohol. And, he basically said, you have a home here. And it was, strangely enough, in the same place at the cage. And it's just a really great thing that we both experience having a guy like Kid Sharkey in our lives. He's going to be 90 years old this May.
God bless him.
Yeah,
still walking around.
It's amazing. And you mentioned a good buddy that we have in common, Carl the Truth Williams. Carl's a funny guy. He's a good friend.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
And yeah, Sharkey and I worked with him in his last few fights. And Carl's just a dynamite person. Now, that was some experience for you as far as seeing Carl train. I know watching Carl train with that, that that long, nasty jab he's got. Just all the different sparring partners he has. It's an experience. You have an amazing, and you mentioned this, your amazing left hook. You lull opponents in at times, and they really don't know how powerful your hook is. I mean, you can punch with both hands, but you've devastated guys with your left hook. Was that something that you planned and you worked on in the gym, like kind of a secret weapon, or was that something you developed through the amateurs and it followed you to the pros?
I kind of developed it as I turned pro. As an amateur, I was more of a boxer, but with power, with a right hand. Jab, jab, right hand, jab, jab, right hand. As I turned pro, a new guy came in, Mike Capiano. He was Jake LaMotta's trainer and manager at one time, and he was helping out Jimmy St Angelo when I turned pro, and we would work on that left hook over and over and over until my arm felt like it was going to come off. And I just developed it, I perfected it, and I started using it more and more and more, and that became like one of my trademarks. That was like one of my best punches. I took on a new manager at the time. My first manager in my career, Kevin Butler, and Jimmy St Angelo. He booked a fight in Atlantic City to fight someone that had a somewhat okay record. We get to Atlantic City the next day. Mr. Butler takes the bus over to the Boardwalk, and he reads in the paper, David Telesco faces Billy Marks, undefeated fighter. He rushes back to my room. David, do you know this guy's undefeated? I said, I thought the guy was, half and half. He had a couple wins, a couple losses. This guy's undefeated. What do you want to do? Let's do it. Let's take the fight. We took the fight. First, second, third round, this guy was hitting me with everything but the kitchen sink, Nick. Fourth round came. Here comes that left hook. Dropped him once, dropped him twice. The third time I dropped him, he didn't get up.
He didn't want to get up.
And that was all done with the left hook. So, that left hook became a big trademark of mine.
That's great. That's great. It's it's like Mickey Ward's one of my favorite fighters, and Mickey's got a beautiful body shot that he puts guys down with time and time again. And as far as your favorite fighter, who do you like? Dating back in history. Overall.
I always liked Muhammad Ali. Always did like Muhammad Ali. A good-looking man, well-spoken, great fighter. Always, he knew how to use his hands and his legs. I mean, when I was coming up, even before I started boxing, I used to sit on my grandfather's lap and bug him. Pop, I want to be a fighter. Pop, I want to be a fighter, because I always watched Muhammad Ali fight.
Yeah.
Come on, Pop, I want to be a fighter. He got tired of it. Said, let's go to the gym. That's when he first took me to that Don Bosco gym in Portchester. But Muhammad Ali, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
He's the greatest. Right now, what are you doing as far as your boxing career? I know that you're, ready to take on anybody that's out there that, wants to step in the ring with you.
Right now, the career is very, very quiet. Even though I try to keep myself motivated, it's kind of hard. I'm talking to this brand new promotional company, hoping and praying that we could give it one more shot, and just want to be able to show the world that with the right opportunities and in the right way to handle a fighter, that someone as talented and gifted can make it, you know. And meanwhile, I'm working 2 jobs, graveyard shift for a delivery company. I work for the city of Portchester. They were able to, reach out to me and give me a hand when I was in need,
That's great.
It's hard, I have 4 children, a wife, and boxing could be wonderful, but then boxing could be terrible.
It can be a heartbreaker.
It's just, if you don't have the right people behind you, no matter how great you are, it just makes it that much harder, So I'm just, I'm training, not 100%, but I'm training enough to keep my weight down, keep my strength, and hoping that this new team that I'm working with, we could really market the rebirth of David Telesco the proper way.
Well, I definitely wish you luck with that. And I know that with your experience, your life experience, good and bad, you'll be able to help out a lot of people when your career, when you decide to, call it a day and hang up the gloves, that you'll be able to help a lot of kids out there. And I'm sure there's a lot of kids that would love to talk to you and get mentored by you and pick your brain about, what was it like, on and off the streets and give some guidance to people. I definitely think you have a lot more to give to life and to the, to the people of, the community than just, us enjoying great David Telesco boxing matches when we tune on the TV.
Right. Well,
So, David, thank you very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Nick.
Hopefully
Thank you.
You'll come back. And this was another edition of In the Ring. I'm your host, Nick DeLaurie, David Telesco. And if you have any questions for David, or if you want to call in or write in, you can call 914-328-1773 or stop up the club at Westchester Boxing Club at 220 Ferris Avenue, White Plains, New York, in the first floor. And thanks for tuning in, and keep on punching.
Thank you.